but if I speak, I shall be in trouble. And we'll go to the Sharks and the Warriors. And the Sharks, I mean, they've not got many changes this week. Kennedy is in the 1. Mulatalo's in the 5 because obviously he was told no Queensland spot for you. So now the New Zealand have said, don't worry about it, mate. There's a shirt here waiting for you if you want it. So silver linings and all that with Katoa on the other wing. Chambers and Ramian are your centres. Tracy and Johnson are your 6 and 7. Tolman, Woods are your props with Brayley in the 9. Decora, Wilton and Rudolph make up the rest of the forward contingent with Trindle, Talakai, Williams and Hamlin ULA on the bench. As for the Warriors, Reece Walsh is back. He will be running out in the 1 shirt. No Origin call-up this time around. Wateni Zelezniak keeps his space on the wing with Rocco Berry and Marcelo Montoya in the 3 and the 4, with RTS moved back to the wing. Nikorima and O'Sullivan are your 6 and 7, with Fanua, Blake and Lodge in the 10. He will be making his Warriors debut with Wade Egan in the 9, with Katoa, Siranen and Tavonga as your 11, 12 and 13. Then it's Kane Evans, Lisa Namoa, Bunty Afoa, and Siranen all making up the bench for the Warriors. I don't know which way to go on this one. I'll be completely honest. I'm going to be properly hedging my bets for this one. I do fancy the Warriors. I think that they've probably got the little bit more of a cohesive lineup than the Sharks do. And based on the Sharks and the form that they're in, that potentially worries me just the slightest little bit.
Don't know why you're stopping there. You could have kept going, mate, because I got no bloody idea. You have a Sharks team who absolutely blew it against the Broncos, who apparently found their mojo off a seedy Mo from Katani Stags. And you put them up against the Warriors side, who did their best impression of I'm trying to think of a good comparison here. For those basketball fans that follow our page, the Golden State Warriors were up 3-1 against Cleveland. You know the rest of the story. I am leaning towards not offering a tip. Oh, this is such an awful game. Look, I'll give you some try scorers first. I think that's going to be the easiest way to go. For whatever reason, and I don't know why I keep going this way, but I'm going to say Nikorima again. He has to be a spark. He's got to be a spark this week. He has a fringe first grader in Sean O'Sullivan, who has more bad than good. Granted, he had a couple of very good games prior to his injury, but he came back last week and just played like nothing, and it kind of just left Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to do a lot. I don't know, what the deal is there. He's at 375. I'm leaning towards him. Marcelo Montoya and Rocco Berry are $3 and $3.40. Whichever one of them lines up against Will Chambers, I'm going to offer that tip probably every week, because more often than not, Chambers will let one in. I thought I was laughing all the way to the bank with Ramian, and then he decided to just run straight into the brick wall of gamble and nearly get sin bin for it, because I could have sworn that he threw a punch there.
There were a couple of cheeky slaps.
Oh, it was great for the game. Great for the game. Love to see it. Bring back the biff. But Montoya or Berry, whichever one lines up against Chambers. Chambers is the left side for the Sharkies. Left side for the Sharkies would be the right-hand side for the Warriors. I think that's Montoya.
Montoya RTS.
So, no, both of those in, but that's Nikorima as well. Yeah, I mean, Connor Tracy could very well dart over from 5'8" as well. Yeah, I thought Trindle did okay at 6, coming in with essentially half an hour of notice. But, Tracy could very well go over from 5'8". Either team 1 to 12 is a safe bet at $1.53. I don't really know if it's going to be a blowout. I'm gonna go and say Sharks just purely on previous form. Warriors do get Reece Walsh back. Roger can float. Nicarima can float. But this is Sean Johnson against the team he's going to be playing at next year. He's going to want to prove to his future coach and his future teammates that man's still got it. So I'm going Sharks 1 to 12. Either one of Montoya and Berry, whichever one is on the Chambers side. And I'll change it. I'm not going to go Connor Tracy. I'm going to go Sean Johnson, paying $4.33. Anytime try scorer. I'll multi that up in a second. Off you go, Matthew.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little more risky. I'm gonna just back the Warriors in this one. Warriors 1 to 12. I think after last week they have a lot of atoning to do. After whoever the medical staff were managed to remove whatever was in the Warriors' windpipe last week and made sure that they had sufficient oxygen circulation again after what was one of the biggest chokes I've seen in quite some time. The Warriors were poor. They've been poor for a little while now. But if you look at their losing margins, 18-19 last week, 6-10 the week before. Discount that 16-42 loss against the Storm, 28-29 against the Cowboys. The Warriors, typically their games are tight. They're tight games. The Warriors, it's just a case of whether they can pull it back or see a game out in some cases, and they tried their best. Well, they did their utmost to throw that game last week. The Sharks in exactly the same position, 26-18 last week. Up to that point before, though, they were on a bit of a hot streak, winning 4 games on the bounce, and those 4 games are counting for the majority of their wins. The Sharks are 6 out of 15 this season, and even when you go to the points, the points scored, 296 in favour of the Sharks, 305 points for the Warriors. Points conceded, 348 for the Sharks, 376 for the Warriors. It's just both of these teams have got points, but both of these teams have a tendency to struggle either seeing out games or staying in games. And I just think that for whatever reason this week, the Warriors are taking my fancy. I do like the inclusion of Walsh at 1 with Tuivasa-Sheck in the 5. I don't think you'll see much of Roger out on that wing. I think when it comes to structured play, you'll probably see RTS used very similar to Turbo Tom in Origin 2. In Origin 1, where you'll see him floating around. You won't see him on the wing. It'll just be that's where he defends. He'll spend a lot of his time, unless there's a set play, a coast-to-coast shift, sideline to sideline kind of move. But I'm going to go Warriors 1 to 12 if I'm going to go anytime try scorer. I think Wateni Zalesniak gets one this week. He lines up against the combination of Ramian and Mulatalo, who, yes, are probably the better defensive edge out of the Warriors, but out of the Sharks, but I just think that the Warriors are pretty good on the slide when they get that right, and if they can, that there's a chance that Mulatalo is going to bite inwards, and maybe even potentially Ramian. If Ramian bites inwards, he drags Mulatalo with him. That creates a space, and Wateni Zalesniak's over. So I'm going to say that Dallin gets over for that one, and I'm going to go Warriors 1 to 12. As for this one, I'd be tempted to back the under. Both of these teams do have defensive lapses. Both of these teams do have points in them, but I don't see there being a lot of points in this one. I think it'll be a pretty tight one. I think it'll be a pretty fiercely contended one, and that both teams will have a little bit more focus on defense this week than they did last.
So, Sharks 1 to 12, Marcelo Montoya, Sean Johnson, 3 legs, pays $40. You're going Warriors 1 to 12, Dallin, anytime, and under?
The under.
Oh, it helps if I pick Dallin and not Roger. Warriors 1 to 12, under 49.5, so under 50, and Dallin $12.
Bit of value.
It's a valuable game, this one.
It is, and do you know what? I think any of the games that we've gone over, this week, with the exception of the Bulldogs versus the Roosters, really could go either way. So this might be a one where some of you keep signed out of some of your accounts. But if you're feeling brave and you're joining us, do let us know with a comment. I think that'll do us there. But if you've enjoyed the show, do let us know. Subscribe, like all our channels, and keep updated with everything that we're doing. But I guess it's just time to say goodbye and thank you for joining us once more.